Hi, I'm Luca, and the game that I've designed is called Madness. Madness is a game that is an 18 plus open world free roam game. The reason that it's an 18 plus is because there is drugs, blood, bad language, and violence that's included in the game. The game includes action and adventure, superpowers, and fighting, as more people are into this kind of games nowadays. The story of the game is that it's about two scientists living in Sydney, Australia, conducting experiments for the government to create the ultimate animal using other animals' DNA. The character that the player plays is called Ray, who's the good guy, and the bad guy is his brother, Marcus. After many unsuccessful attempts of this experiment, Ray takes the sample of the animal DNA to his desk and adds another DNA sample of human DNA. The reaction with the human DNA backfires and explodes all over Ray. Ray wakes up in hospital 3 weeks later from a coma. He returns back to normal with the same experiment as his brother. Ray, after another couple of weeks, he noticed that he feels stronger, faster, more agile. Ray is curious why he feels like this, so he samples his blood and sees that animal DNA is wrapped around his own DNA. He tells Marcus about this and about what has happened to him. Marcus says he wants to conduct experiments on Ray, but Ray does not want to participate. Marcus then threatens Ray to alert the authorities about what's happened, so they take matters into their own hands. Ray still doesn't want to participate, so Marcus calls security. Ray runs out just in time. After a few weeks from running out from his brother, Ray is now living in abandoned warehouses, and his condition has made him extremely strong, extremely fast, and extremely agile. He is now living under the radar so he doesn't alert the government military who are looking for him. A couple of weeks have gone past now, and Ray noticed that his arms are hairy, like a gorilla, his eyes are bigger, like a cheetah, and his tongue is thinner, like a snake. Ray conducts his blood underneath a stolen microscope and sees that the animal DNA that is wrapped around his own DNA has started to mutate. Ray needs to find the elements in the city for a cure for his condition without getting caught by the military government. This will not be easy. Now the characters Ray and Marcus are twins, but they're very different. Ray is the more slick, he has a mohawk, he's more chilled out, he's the calmer one of the two. While Marcus has a full head of hair, he cares a lot about money, he finds himself very sophisticated, and he's very selfish. But somehow before the experiment went wrong, they got on very well as they're brothers. The environment is based in Sydney. The reason that I chose Sydney is because Sydney has very tall buildings, it's very big, there's a lot to explore, and the reason that I like the tall buildings idea is because while playing the game, the players can actually play on top of every single building that is in the game, so it gives it that more adventurous feel to it, and no other game has been based in Sydney. Most games like this have been based in like typical New York City environment, as it has as it's known as a concrete jungle. The powers that Ray has is the animal powers of a rhino, a shark, a gorilla, a hawk, a snake, and a cheetah. So we go through them. The shark is for when swimming. He's a very good fast swimmer. He can dive, he can just attack while he's in the water. The gorilla for the strength and the ability to climb buildings. The hawk, so when on top of the building or when in hiding, he has a hawk eye, so he can see who's where and know what to do while at a distance. And the snake is for the slyness, so he's very easy to slide away. He can camouflage into the grass or into the trees or something. And the rhino is for the strength, as in the more solid, like when running he can smash through cars, has that effect that he's got the big horn on his head, so when smashing into a person they explode. and the last one, cheetah, for the speed, so he can run as fast as he can, like as a cheetah, and just get away as fast as he can. The way the game is played is that it's a third-person game, and the player has to run through the city doing missions that's all over the place. The missions will be floating yellow stars, and when near one, press the action button and the mission will activate. The online side of the game is a last man standing game. It's a max of 4 people in one game, and you have to collect the animal DNA that is scattered around a certain area of the map, and when in possession of the animal DNA, you gain whatever animal power you have collected. The way is that when you have animal DNA, you have to defeat the other players, and it's the last man standing wins. There's also side missions in the actual story mode, but when completing a side mission, you have entered into the leaderboard, and whatever score you get or whatever time you get, it might be a time trial, it might be a series of soldiers, like waves, and you've got to defeat them, how many waves you get through. And it goes onto this leaderboard, and you, your friends, or anyone in the world can see where you are, and if they try and beat you, and if they beat you, you can try and beat them. Gives it that more competitive edge. The game would be on 3 different types of consoles: Xbox, PlayStation 3, and a PC or Mac. The reason I did this because these are the best-selling games, consoles around, and more people are playing on these consoles, so that means more and more people will buy this kind of game. Now, coming on to the more money side of things, I will be selling the game at around about £30, which, considering most games nowadays are like £40 to £50, I would consider this quite cheap. I'll be selling the game in the USA, Canada, Europe, and Australia. This makes a very big audience for the game, and more audience equals more money. There will be also different languages you can set for the game, so for every language in Europe we'll be able to understand what's happening. And that is my game design of Madness. Thank you for listening.